Marcus wiped the sweat from his brow as he pushed his cleaning cart down the empty corridor of Hartwell Technologies, his worn sneakers squeaking against the polished floor. It was 11:47 p.m., and most of the world was asleep, but this was when his day truly began. In the reflection of the darkened office windows, he caught a glimpse of himself, tired eyes, graying temples, uniform 2 sizes too big, and wondered, not for the first time, if his daughter Lily could see him now, would she still think he was her hero? The question haunted him every night as he scrubbed toilets and emptied trash cans, armed only with a high school diploma and a father's desperate love. But tonight, everything was about to change. Tonight, Marcus would discover that sometimes the smallest acts of attention can alter the course of multiple lives, and that the people society overlooks are often the ones paying the closest attention. The job at Hartwell wasn't glamorous, but it paid the bills, barely. After his wife Sarah died 3 years ago from cancer, leaving him with 7-year-old Lily and a mountain of medical debt, Marcus had cobbled together a life from whatever pieces he could find. The night shift paid an extra $50 per hour, which meant he could be home when Lily got off the school bus, help her with homework, make dinner, and tuck her in before heading to work. He slept in scattered fragments, a few hours here and there, running on coffee and the unwavering determination that his daughter would have a better life than he did. As Marcus cleaned the executive floor, he noticed the lights still on in the corner office belonging to Rebecca Chen, the company's CEO. She'd been there every night this week, hunched over her computer, her usually immaculate appearance growing progressively more disheveled. Marcus had worked at Hartwell long enough to recognize the signs of a company in trouble. Whispered conversations stopped when he entered rooms. Executives looked worried. The usual holiday party planning had been quietly cancelled. He knocked gently on her open door. "Evening, Miss Chen. Just need to empty your trash." Rebecca looked up, her eyes red-rimmed and exhausted. "Oh, Marcus." "Yes, of course. I'm sorry, I'm just..." She trailed off, gesturing vaguely at her screen. "Long night?" Marcus offered, already knowing the answer. She laughed bitterly. "Long month. Long year, actually." She paused, studying him as if seeing him for the first time. "You work the night shift, right? How do you do it? How do you keep going when everything feels impossible?" Marcus was surprised by the question. Executives rarely spoke to him beyond pleasantries, much less asked his opinion on anything. "I have a daughter," he said simply. "Lily. She's 7. When things get hard, I think about her future, not my present. Keeps me moving forward." Rebecca's expression softened. "That's beautiful. I wish I had that kind of clarity right now." Over the next few nights, their brief encounters stretched into longer conversations. Marcus learned that Hartwell was being targeted in a hostile takeover by a larger competitor. If it went through, 300 employees would lose their jobs, including Rebecca, who had built the company from scratch over 15 years. She'd exhausted every legal option, every financial maneuver, every negotiation tactic. The deadline was Friday at 5 p.m., just 2 days away. Marcus found himself thinking about the problem during the day, between helping Lily with her multiplication tables and making her favorite grilled cheese sandwiches. On Thursday night, while cleaning the break room on the executive floor, he overheard something that made him freeze. 2 junior executives were microwaving leftover pizza and talking in low voices. "Did you hear about Brennan Corp's CEO?" one said. "Apparently he's in some kind of federal investigation. Securities fraud or something. My buddy in legal mentioned it." "Really? That's the company trying to buy us out, right?" "Yeah, but Chen doesn't know. She's been so focused on the takeover terms, she hasn't been following the news about them." Marcus's heart began to race. He quickly finished his work and headed straight for the company's business library, a small room filled with trade publications and newspapers that no one used anymore since everything went digital. His hands shook as he flipped through recent editions of the Wall Street Journal and Financial Times, searching. There, buried on page 12 of Monday's paper, a small article about Brennan Corporation's CEO being subpoenaed in a fraud investigation. He pulled out his phone and took pictures of the article, then searched online for more information. The rabbit hole went deep. Brennan Corp was being investigated by the SEC for artificially inflating their stock prices. If proven, they wouldn't have the capital they claimed to have for the acquisition. Marcus checked his watch, 1:15 a.m. Rebecca would still be in her office. He found her exactly where he expected, staring at spreadsheets with hollow eyes. "Ms. Chen? I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think you need to see this." What happened next felt like a fever dream. Rebecca's exhaustion vanished as she read the articles, her mind immediately grasping the implications. She started making phone calls despite the late hour, lawyers, board members, financial advisors. Marcus watched as she transformed back into the formidable CEO who had built a successful tech company from nothing. By Friday afternoon, Rebecca's legal team had filed an emergency motion to delay the takeover pending the investigation into Brennan Corp's finances. By Monday, Brennan Corp's stock had plummeted, their acquisition offer was withdrawn, and Hartwell Technologies was safe. 300 jobs were saved, including Marcus's. Marcus thought that was the end of it. He'd helped, the company was saved, and life would return to normal. But on Wednesday evening, when he arrived for his shift, his supervisor told him Rebecca wanted to see him in her office immediately. His stomach dropped. Had he overstepped? Was he in trouble for involving himself in company business? Rebecca wasn't alone. The entire executive team was there, along with several people he didn't recognize. His hands felt clammy as he stepped inside. "Marcus," Rebecca began, her voice thick with emotion, "you saved this company. You saved 300 families from losing their livelihoods. You weren't obligated to pay attention, to care, or to help. But you did." She paused, pulling out a folder. "We want to offer you a position in our operations department. Full-time, day shift, with benefits and a salary that's, well, significantly more than you're making now. We'll also be establishing the Sarah Martinez Memorial Scholarship Fund in your late wife's name, for children of single parents pursuing higher education." Marcus's knees went weak. The room began to blur as tears filled his eyes. I don't have a college degree. I'm not qualified." "You're observant, intelligent, and you care about the people around you," Rebecca interrupted. "Those are the qualifications that matter most. We'll provide any training you need. Marcus, you saw what dozens of people with MBAs missed. That's not something we can teach." But that wasn't all. One of the unfamiliar faces stepped forward, a woman in an expensive suit. "Mr. Martinez, I'm Julia Brennan, a board member at Hartwell and a partner at Westfield Financial. I'd like to personally offer to set up a college fund for your daughter Lily. Full ride, any school she gets into." Marcus couldn't hold it together anymore. He thought of Lily, of all the nights he'd worried about how he'd pay for her future, of Sarah and how proud she would be. He thought of every toilet he'd scrubbed, every floor he'd mopped, every time he'd swallowed his pride and kept going for his little girl. "I don't know what to say," he whispered, tears streaming down his face. Rebecca smiled, her own eyes glistening. "Say yes. Say you'll let us show you that your humanity, your kindness, and your attention to the world around you have value. Say you'll let us give back a fraction of what you've given us." That night, when Marcus got home as the sun was rising for once, he climbed into Lily's bed and held her sleeping form close. "We're going to be okay, baby girl," he whispered into her hair. "Everything's going to be okay." 3 months later, Marcus sat in his new office on the 3rd floor, wearing a button-down shirt and actually using the business degree Hartwell was helping him earn through night classes. His daughter's college fund was growing steadily. The medical debt was nearly gone. And every single day, he made sure to greet the night shift cleaning crew by name, to ask about their families, to see them the way Rebecca